Dr. Caroline Hamilton. Tell us about the research that you're doing in Melbourne.
Well, my research project is looking at small-scale independent publishers based in Melbourne, and their responses and reactions to the development of digital networks for their publishing. So I'm particularly interested in the fact that so many small publishers are still very interested in producing books, magazines, even as we're sort of being told that really everything now needs to be online. What interested me about the community in Melbourne was a couple of things actually. Was that they had a very strong sense of community. Lots of people knew each other, and a lot of the time they were engaging both in person and also online. So they were using digital networks to facilitate their own professional development and distribution networks as well. And then at the same time as they were interested in producing lovely books and magazines and zines, they were also very au fait with internet technologies and networks of distribution, and also many of them really interested in seeing how viable it was to do print-on-demand publication.
Yeah, so there's very integrated notion of
and they just, to me, I was just
and
really struck there did not seem to be the same level of anxiety that we see in traditional publishing culture. Even in the media, Murdoch and the paywalls need to kind of closely guard certain types of information, which just doesn't exist in this community. So it seems to me that it's quite an exciting prototype for ways of thinking about what might happen in the publishing industry. So that's in a nutshell what my project is for the next 3 years.
And we've been talking about doing something.
We have,
together.
yes. Well, so I guess the idea that we've been workshopping together is kind of influenced by that scenario in Melbourne, which is we've been discussing what might a bookshop in the future look like. So taking into account all this anxiety, and particularly we've been chatting about the anxiety in London and the demise of the independent bookstore, and although it's certainly not as dire in Australia, it's not much better in Australia either. So I guess we're trying to think about what might happen in a bookstore and what a bookstore might look like if these predictions come true and they're completely emptied out of all those books on the shelves. And I guess our first instinct is to say, well, let's look at something like what's happening in this literary community in Melbourne and see that where it's appropriate and where it works best, use digital methods. And where you need to have the tangible object or the meaningful conversation, do it. Let's make that happen. And it seems that the bookshop might be the place where that actually happens. When you empty out of the books, that might be the site where all those things are happening. So we're going to find out, I hope.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks.